Hello, happy Friday. I hope your morning is going well. Welcome back to my channel, folks. If it's your first time visiting, thank you so much for stopping by my little channel. I value and appreciate you. So please leave a thumbs up below the screen. Subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to ding my little bell for notifications of all my future uploads. And consider sharing this video so we can build this, what's turning out to be an awesome community. Let's have a look. There was we had such a great pre-stream chat this morning. Lambo was here first, and I want him to write his own list of haunted locations. Keely was here. Keely, I do not envy you with sleep paralysis. I've heard that is terrifying. Paranormal, psychological makes no difference. That would be awful to have. JP is here. Steve Webb, g'day. And of course, Kaz is here with Achilles. That's always nice. He's such a good boy. Let's enjoy some quality time together. Please help me out by letting me know in the chat if there's any problems that pop up with the stream. I have some very interesting and awesome Australian guests joining me. We'll be recording later today. So give me your questions for Dan and Pete from the Night Watchers Paranormal team. And in honor of their upcoming time with us, I want to share with you a list I've compiled of 20 supposedly haunted locations in Australia. Now, this list is by no means exhaustive. I'm sure I could make a second and third, even fourth and fifth after talking to the chat of this subject, okay? And still not even scrape the surface of all the allegedly haunted places in Australia. I had some great suggestions in the chat before. I think I'm going to compile a list, and I think especially if they're in Queensland, I will certainly give them to my guests, Dan and Pete, because I know that they're always looking for places to go check out. What I did discover during my research is that us Aussies love a spooky story and location. So if you're brave enough, you should be able to visit most of these locations on this list, and a lot of them even run ghost tours. So okay, let's get straight into the list. I don't know if anyone noticed in the thumbnail, there is an old building behind me, and that building is the Kalamunda Hotel. And that's in my old stomping grounds in the hills of Perth, Western Australia. The Kalamunda Hotel was built in 1928. The Kalamunda Hotel ghost is said to be a pregnant teenage girl who committed suicide by jumping off the hotel's back balcony. However, some believe she died in room 24. So in the years since, glowing lights have apparently been seen coming from room 24 when it's unoccupied. And the corridor outside is said to be icy cold even in summer. That's actually a pretty sad story, but it's creepy as heck. Hi, Addie boy. I'm glad you could join us. Hi, Paul L. That's nice. Yo, you sent me a great spooky photo once. That was awesome. Okay, number two is in another Western Australian haunted location, and it's pretty famous. It's the Fremantle Arts Centre, and it was formerly the Fremantle Lunatic Asylum. It was built by convicts in 1861. Visitors have noticed cold spots, moving lights, and apparitions throughout the whole building. Perhaps one of the most chilling occurrences is the apparition of a woman on the museum stairs who has been heard to whisper, "Cold winds. That's what's in this place." That's pretty spooky. I do not want to hear any disembodied whispers or apparitions that are going to whisper crap like that at me, okay? I don't want to hear it at all. Yeah, old hospitals are like the best for sure. Number three is probably Australia's most famous haunted house, Monte Cristo Homestead in Junee, New South Wales. I'd say it is probably Australia's most famous haunted house. It was built in 1884, and there have been reported sightings of a woman in period dress walking along the veranda to blood stains appearing on the steps where a former maid of the household once fell. I think nowadays we've got so many cameras and that we need to get in there and take some photos. If there are blood stains appearing on stairs, it should be pretty simple to get some evidence. Let's, or we got to go visit these places. Number 4 is Beechworth Asylum in Beechworth, Victoria. If you visit Beechworth, it's Australia's second oldest asylum, and you might be one of many to hear children's laughter in the corridors. It's estimated that over 9,000 patients died during their stay at Beechworth. I don't know how accurate those numbers are, but that's absolutely terrible. That's a really sad history. I don't want to hear laughter when I'm walking in an old building. Number 5 is Jenolan Caves. I think that's how you say it. Kaz did help me with it yesterday, but I've forgotten. In the Blue Mountains in New South Wales. Now, caves are spooky enough. I love caves, but these caves apparently have their own resident ghost. Guides have reported sightings and even interactions with a well-dressed old man who is believed to be James Wibberd, a caretaker of the caves who loved them so much that he requested that his ashes be scattered there. So apparently if you go on a tour there, you may see a well-dressed old man who may even interact with you and give you give you a bit of a tour of the caves. So, and then disappear. Number 6 is another quite famous one and probably one of the creepiest ones. Number 6 is the National Film and Sound Archive in Canberra in the ACT. Formerly the Australian Institute of Anatomy. It housed hundreds of human skeletons and body parts and animal specimens, including Phar Lap's heart, Ned Kelly's skull, and even a mummy from Papua New Guinea. Staff have witnessed objects moving by themselves, weird noises coming from recording booths, which once were dissection labs. So there's probably an awful lot of creepy stuff that's going on in there. If anywhere's got creepy stuff happening, it would be there. Number 7 is an interesting one because it's not actually like a house or anything. It's Red Bank Tunnel in Picton, New South Wales. Picton is suggested to be Australia's most haunted town. Now, in 1916, a young woman by the name of Emily Bollard was walking through the town's Red Bank Tunnel when she was apparently hit and killed by a train. Very sad. Local residents and tourists have reported to seeing a white flowing figure of a woman who has no face, super creepy, that makes me think of Japanese ghost films, within the tunnel. There have also been reports of lights floating above people's heads, sudden drops in temperature, that seems to be a thing, and ghostly children appearing out of the darkness. That ghost children, that is a definite nope. No, thank you. Ghost children creep me the heck out. I just don't want to, I never want to encounter a ghost child, ghost children's voices, ghost children's footsteps. I don't know why, but the idea of ghost children really creeps me. Number 8 is the very famous Sydney's Quarantine Station in New South Wales. For over 150 years, the North Head Quarantine Station was used to isolate people who had been exposed to diseases like the bubonic plague, Spanish influenza, and smallpox even. Sadly, countless people died from disease and also neglect because apparently they were living in squalid conditions and their spirits are said to haunt the now defunct buildings. So I really would like it if you let me know if you've been to any of these locations also in the chat, because I've tried to pick ones all over Australia. I found it a little bit hard to find any from the Northern Territory though, but I'm sure there's got to be some. So if anybody could, that's okay, Ed B. You catch it on the rerun. It's great for you to drop in. G'day to Chantel too. It's always nice to see you. Number 9 is the Old Melbourne Jail in Victoria. This is a well-known one. This is apparently extremely haunted. And this jail is where Ned Kelly and around 133 others were hanged between 1842 and 1929. Visitors have since had creepy experiences, hearing strange noises, and again, with the sudden drops in temperature. You know, what is that about? Does anyone know? Maybe my guests will know. Maybe I can ask Dan and Pete, what the heck is with the sudden drops in temperature? Number 10 is actually one of my favourite places to visit. It's Port Arthur in Tasmania. It was called Hell on Earth by its convict prisoners. Port Arthur is believed to be one of the Southern Hemisphere's most active haunted places. During its 47 years as a convict settlement, over 1,000 people perished within its boundaries. In the last 2 decades, over 2,000 paranormal incidents have been recorded. The museum there even has an unusual occurrence form on hand for anyone wanting to report an otherworldly incident. It's a beautiful place, though, and it's certainly well worth a visit. I really love Port Arthur. And they have a board of ghost photos too that people have taken there, or of spooky photos. It's mostly like orbs and things like that, which could be put down to dust or other anomalies, but some of them are actually pretty creepy. Number 11 is really well known as well. It's the Devil's Pool in Queensland. He came for a visit and stayed forever. That's written on a plaque near the swimming spot. Since 1959, 17 people have died at the popular swimming spot. Aboriginal folklore says a woman drowned herself at the pool after being separated from her lover. The woman is believed to now haunt the pool, and like a siren, she lures men to join her in death. So if you're a dude and you go swimming at Devil's Pool, take a friend, okay, so that they can check that you're not being lured to your death. People have reported strange apparitions and the sound of someone crying. I think there was a really famous spooky photo taken at Devil's Pool too. Keely Boyd, you're exactly right. Port Arthur is both beautiful and eerie indeed. Stephen Webb, did anything spooky happen to you when you went to the National Film and Sound Archive? That's super climate change, maybe, Kaz. Number 12 is the Princess Theatre in Victoria. Melbourne's famous Princess Theatre plays host to its own resident ghost. In 1888, actor Frederick Federici was performing a production of Faust on its opening night. As the play finished, Federici suffered a heart attack and died as the curtain went down. Apparently, he has never left the theatre. Well, I don't know. I wonder what he does. It's like the Phantom of the Opera, isn't it? You should totally, Kaz, some photography at Port Arthur. Oh my gosh, you would never run out of things to photograph there. The old barracks and that are beautiful. Number 13 is Wakehurst Parkway in New South Wales. Aside from connecting the suburbs of Seaforth and Narrabeen, Sydney's notorious highway has been infamously used as a dumping ground for murder victims. Legend has it that if you drive at night, a ghost named Kelly will appear in the back seat, and unless you tell her to get out, she will apparently take control of the car and steer you off the road to your doom. Flippin' heck, Kelly, that's that's not cool. That's not cool at all. I don't know how they know that. I mean, I'm just not sure how they've collected the data on that one, but it's fun anyway. So be careful, park on that highway. Number 14 is Jenny Dixon Beach, located on New South Wales' central coast, is supposedly haunted by 2 ghosts. One is apparently the spirit of a woman killed in a shipwreck off Nora Head in the 1800s. She appears dressed in old-fashioned clothing with her arms outstretched as if asking for help. That actually gave me goosebumps. I don't want to see anything like that. The second ghost appears a little further back from the beach on Wilfred Barrett Drive. Hundreds of people have reported to police that they've seen a young girl hitchhiking along the road, only for her to suddenly disappear. Others have reported offering her a lift, only to have her disappear from inside their car. Yikes. But it's still better than Kelly steering your car off the road, I reckon. I'd rather one just disappear than like some ghost trying to make me crash. G'day, Daz. How you going? Yeah, exactly, Paul. Lucky you're with Amy. That's funny. Number 15. Brighton Beach in South Australia. There's quite a few haunted beaches in Australia. That was something I did not know. At Brighton Beach in South Australia, multiple people in Adelaide claim they have witnessed a woman dressed in vintage 1920s swimming gear diving off Brighton Jetty, which is strange but fine, except that the only thing is she never actually comes up for air. So you'll see her dive down and then nothing. Adelaide Now reports that it's widely believed to be the ghost of Kitty White, who has the dubious title of being the first reported person killed by a shark in South Australia. So I hope you can rest, Kitty White, and I hope you're not forever diving off that jetty. Yeah. Oh, no. We can't have Kelly taking Daz's Hyundai. That would be bad. I have heard of the Pilliga Princess, the shopping trolley lady Lambo. I was going to put her on this list. She's definitely going on the next one. Number 16, Bunker Bay, WA. West of Bunker Bay is a lighthouse called Cape Naturalist Lighthouse. And apparently there's a bunch of ghosts living in this one area. One is apparently named Harry Bellmeyer, and he lives on the grounds in the old lightkeeper's cottage. According to Perth folklore, he's a young Scotsman who was fatefully on a ship called Carnarvon Castle that caught ablaze off the coast in 1907. Bloodied and dehydrated, Harry made it to shore but passed away days later while being tended to by a local doctor in, you guessed it, the lighthouse keeper's cottage. So apparently Harry is still there. There's a second cottage on the grounds supposedly haunted by a woman named Mary, with witness accounts of her attacking a maintenance man who stayed at the cottage in the 1900s, reporting that one of the men awoke during the evening to a woman dressed in period-style clothing with her hands wrapped around his neck. Frightened, the man left the cottage immediately and stayed the night in a local motel. But that's not all for Bunker Bay. The site also claims that there is a third spirit that has been sighted in the car park of the lighthouse. And it's appearing as a young boy holding up a lantern. Again, kid ghosts. I pray I never see one. A car almost collided with him one night and apparently ended up passing straight through him. So look out for a little boy in the car park of Bunker Bay Lighthouse. Creepy, although I kind of want to go to all these places. Roger that. Hi, nice to see you. Yeah, really, Bunker Bay, apparently it's super haunted. So it's probably very beautiful, but apparently it's super haunted. Okay, the next one I personally think is more of an urban legend than a haunting. It's number 17 on the list, and it's Lemon Tree Passage Road. Lemon Tree Passage, New South Wales. Pretty sure this is just an urban legend, but I'm going to include it in the list anyway. Located in the suburb of Lemon Tree Passage, a suburb of Port Stephens, north of Newcastle in New South Wales, Lemon Tree Passage Road has long been the subject of local legend. The myth goes that if you speed down this stretch of road, you will have a run-in with a ghost or experience some sort of supernatural occurrence. Many locals and tourists passing through have told of chilling experiences that mostly involve bright lights that come and go from nowhere and very nearly run many drivers off the road. In my opinion, if you speed down any road, your biggest risk is not ghouls, but becoming a ghost yourself. So don't speed, folks. Just drive safely, okay? Yeah, Fremantle Prison is super. Hi, Suhaz. It's great to have you here. Okay, 18 is called the Bloody Mile in Shellharbour, New South Wales. New South Wales is really haunted, I realised. I didn't realise that. Yeah, I'm from WA. It's a huge state. There's a lot of hauntings there, but for the size of New South Wales, it's kind of active. Okay, so the Bloody Mile in Shellharbour, New South Wales. This road, located between the Princes Highway and the South Coast Railway line in New South Wales, has earned the name the Bloody Mile. Apparently, 13 murders have occurred on this one stretch of desolate road, which makes it eerie enough, without adding to that there have been numerous sightings of apparitions of victims just wandering aimlessly up and down the road. It's kind of like in America, they seem to have these phantom hitchhikers all the time. So that's, don't stop for folks. Okay, remember Kelly steering you off the road. Okay, number 9 is Kalgoorlie Town Hall. Now, I've spent a lot of time in Kalgoorlie, and our friend Steve Bryce lives in Kalgoorlie, so maybe he can check this out for us. Kalgoorlie Town Hall is one of the most iconic buildings in Kalgoorlie, Western Australia. Until a couple of years ago, the town hall was used by the council and was the location of the visitor centre. It is now only open for public tours. Many people who worked in the building reportedly heard noises and feeling a presence watching them even when they were alone in some of the rooms. So if you're in Kalgoorlie or the Goldfields there, definitely check out the Kalgoorlie Town Hall. For the very last, g'day Lurker, for the very last haunted location on my list, it's one of my favourites. Ward Finnity's house and the Coolgardie ghost cat. I just love the idea of a ghost cat. It's in Western Australia, and one of the popular attractions in Coolgardie, because there's not that many, it's not that big, but it's a great place, is Warden Finnity's historic house. Now, you can explore the historic residence and learn more about Coolgardie, which is known as the mother of the Western Australian goldfields. The story goes that during the renovation of Warden Finnity's historic house, Jack Tree, the curator, felt that he was being bitten on the ankles like constantly, but could see nothing to account for the sensation. He said that it felt like being bitten by a cat or a very small dog. During the work, the body of a very flat cat was found under the building. It may have been there since the 1890s. So apparently, once the cat's body had been removed, there were no more reports of bitten ankles. That cat just needed to be laid to rest with a proper funeral. So we used to go camping in Coolgardie as kids. We were always going to the Goldfields every holidays. And I actually have really fond memories of the place. And I remember my daddy telling us ghost stories while we were camping, which used to terrify us. But it was all good fun. So I'll have a look at chat, what you've got there. Steve and Luke are in the same car, as long as Kelly isn't in there too. Wow, there is so many places that you guys are recommending, and I would really like, I think I'll make a list and I might suggest them to my friends Dan and Pete, who are going to be joining me to record this afternoon, and that should go up on Tuesday next week. So if any questions for Dan and Pete about the equipment they use to go ghost hunting or anything, it was a flat cat, Lambo, that's right. Anything like that, please let me know, because I'll be taking it to them today. Let's have a Captain Cook at what's happening in the world today. Today's news headlines that stood out to me were, this is scary. Nurses in South Australia today are on high alert after a computer glitch has been adding an extra digit to medication doses. This glitch has affected several hospitals in the state. A memo was sent out after the glitch was discovered, warning that the last digit on the prescription might be repeated. For example, a 15 milligram dose became a 155 milligram dose. A 100 milligram dose suddenly appeared as a 1,000 milligram dose. This could have been catastrophic if it wasn't picked up on as quickly as it was. And I feel really sorry for the nurses and the midwives in the state, because this is just added to their already overburdened workload. So I'm thinking of all the South Australian nurses and midwives today. Hopefully no one gets the wrong dose of medication. This next story left me pretty frustrated. A female-led initiative has raised $1 million to update a program called Erase All Kittens, designed to teach girls to code. With the tech sector growing and the number of women working in STEM-related fields continuing to decrease, the program is aimed at increasing interest in coding by girls. I'm not sure where to begin. That $1 million could be spent somewhere in the world helping girls out of poverty and providing basic healthcare. There are so many great programs for children to learn coding that I'm puzzled why we need a gendered one. You know, isn't that kind of inherently sexist in itself to suggest little girls couldn't possibly handle the same coding program as boys? You know, is it possible that maybe girls and women just aren't interested in that field? Do we need to force them to be? You know, can't we just let girls and women like what they like and stop telling them and forcing them and wasting millions of dollars to try and lure them into something they maybe just aren't interested in? You know, I don't know. What do you guys think? It just seems silly. Rob Kent, it's lovely to see you. It's so awesome. I'm so glad you could pop in. A glitch or a hack. Roger that said, a glitch or a hack. This reminds me, recently in the USA, someone hacked a water treatment plant and changed the mixture of the drinking water. Well, I was wondering the same thing, Roger, that. They said it was a glitch because it happened with just one program. But I don't know, would they tell us if it was a hack? Maybe not. Maybe we don't need to know. We don't need to panic. But that could have been serious. Like, that could have killed people. That could be really serious. Today in history, on the 7th of May in 1429, the English siege of Orleans was broken by Joan of Arc and the French army. On May the 7th in 1867, Swedish chemist Alfred Nobel patented his first patent. He had 3 all up for dynamite in England, and we all know that he regretted that. Hey, Stickman, it's awesome to see you here. I'm so glad you could be here. On May the 7th in 1915, the RMS Lusitania was sunk by a German submarine off the southern coast of Ireland. 1,198 lives were lost, and I believe it sparked a lot more involvement in that war than what had been happening. What do you guys think about that? About that it was Joan of Arc's day today. It is really good to see you, Stickman. I love seeing you in the comments. You cracked me up yesterday. Today, my pick for 3 historical figures I would want to spend an evening with would be Harry Houdini, famous skeptic of all things paranormal, Agatha Christie, just because she was awesome, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, inventor of Sherlock Holmes, great friend of Harry Houdini, and true believer in ghosts. And you know what we would do? We would have a murder mystery dinner party, because that would be ace, don't you think? I think this would be good. I would like to recommend a YouTube channel for you, and it is called Night Watchers Paranormal. And Dan and Pete are going to be joining me to record this afternoon for next week for our viewing pleasure. So these guys will be visiting our little channel next week. So please leave me your questions for Dan and Pete. Don't forget to check out their channel and give them some Aussie YouTube love. So I really want your questions. I'm going to take to them your list of haunted places, definitely. So, because there is some on there that I have never heard of. I knew I'd be able to do more than one. I've decided I won't be streaming or uploading on the weekends, especially at this stage. That might change later on. Oh, and everybody, don't forget, it's Mother's Day on Sunday. So if you haven't sorted that out, better get onto it today, because tomorrow you'll be racing around like crazy and she will know. She will know if you've only got her some service station flowers. Please click the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, ding my little bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Consider sharing this video so we can build this community, which, by the way, is absolutely awesome. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself spending my mornings with such fine company. You guys are just the best. If you're watching this on the rerun, hello there. Thanks for watching. Hopefully one day you can pop in and catch us live, and it would be fantastic if you jumped in chat and said g'day. I appreciate and value every single one of you, and especially for giving me your precious time in the mornings. So I probably won't be here tomorrow, as it'll be a Saturday. Don't forget Mother's Day, but I will certainly be back at exactly the same time on Monday and for during the weekdays. So love and kisses. Bye. Have a great Mother's Day. Love your mother. Make her feel special, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys. See you later.